Welcome to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust from the Capital Region's leading experts in real estate and all related fields. From the latest real estate trends to the best mortgage rates, from curb appeal to home warranty, this is the talk show that will help you save and make the most when it comes to buying or selling your most valuable asset. Now, here's your host, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, The Property Shop, John Bevilacqua.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Johnny G. What's up, my man?
Hey, it's Saturday morning. Here
That's
again.
it, buddy. Yeah, man. It's gorgeous out there
and
today.
October almost over. October almost here.
I know. October is here. Are you kidding me? It's like 2 days away, my friend.
Yeah.
You know, pumpkins and leaves and...
Oktoberfest.
We got Matt Moore over here from Moore Insurance Services of Clifton Park. What's
Always
up, buddy?
good to see you, Matt.
How you doing, man? What's up,
Good.
Johnny G? How are you?
Pretty good.
Yeah, man. So we got Matt over here again. We're going to talk some insurance stuff today and talk about how that relates to real estate because, hey, it's a real estate talk show, right? So the whole goal of the show, Johnny, is to bring our listeners the most up-to-date tips, tricks, ideas, hacks, market conditions, right? Because the market's, it's still pretty crazy. We did have a little rate decrease there, which did stimulate some things. As little as
Good.
it was, it definitely brought a little bit of action back to the market. But that's what we do. That's the whole point of the conversation here is to bring our listeners, give them all the tools and ammunition that they need and educate them on how the real estate process works. That's what I've been doing for 20 years. Matt, how long have you been doing insurance for?
Yeah, 20 plus years.
20 plus years. So you got a couple of guys that, kind of know what they're talking about here. But
And you don't look that old either.
we don't look that old. Thanks, John. I appreciate. No, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Hasn't caught up to us yet.
Hasn't
The
yet.
experience is there.
The great. There's definitely some grays here, but we're not fully albino white on top yet.
There
so
you go.
anyhow, so that's what we do, guys. And so the show today that Matt and I kind of drummed up is we keep saying every time we get Matt on the show or anybody on the show, the show goes by so fast. And we never get to the topic that we actually wanted to talk about, which has been trying to talk about the whole process of getting insurance for a real estate transaction, kind of how it all goes down, and some pointers and tips that Matt's going to give us to make sure that you guys have the right insurance policy for your home, whether you're a buyer or seller. We're going to take a quick sponsor break, and then we're going to get into that conversation in about 90 seconds.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Hey, it's John Tesh. If you're thinking of selling your home, let me take the stress out of deciding which agent to hire. In the Capital Region, the agent I recommend is John Bevilacqua, founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty at The Property Shop. So for 2 decades, John has helped more than 2,500 families buy and sell the place they call home. That's a solid track record, one that's backed up by dozens of 5-star reviews. Hello. In fact, John is so confident in his marketing system to attract the right buyer for your home that he guarantees to sell it at a price and deadline you agreed to, or he's going to buy it himself for cash. And he provides that guarantee in writing. The agent I trust is John Bevilacqua, and he's the agent you should trust too. His name is his promise. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. So write this number down. It's 518-957-SOLD. That's easy. 518-957-7653. Or go to JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com. I love that one. JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com, and you'll get your home sold guaranteed.
Buying or selling the place you call home can be stressful. When you have questions, you don't want to wait for answers. Well, for 20 years, Kim Salerno and her team at Salerno Law have built a solid reputation with buyers, sellers, and real estate agents as fast, respectful communicators. They know Salerno Law will protect their rights and respond quickly when a question arises. Trust Salerno Law. Call 518-309-3404 and check out their 5-star reviews at SalernoLawNY.com.
Hi, I'm Matt Moore from Moore Insurance Services in Clifton Park. Let me take the stress out of quoting your home and auto insurance. We represent over 10 companies, which allows us to find the best coverage at the best prices. We've been helping families in the Capital District save money on their insurance for over 10 years. You can count on a quick turnaround as well as great communication every time. Give me a call at 518-280-1452 or go online to moreinsurancesvc.com and experience the difference. That's moreinsurancesvc.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
All right, guys, we're back. Too much side conversations here on the break. We always do it, I know. Hey, so listen. So, Matt, let's get into it because I don't want to run out of time. And I do want to let people know this is a call-in show, 518-476-5900. So if you guys want to give us a call, you want to talk real estate, you want to talk real estate insurance, we got Matt Moore here from Moore Insurance Services of Clifton Park, and we're getting into the process. So, Matt, listen, I'm buying a house, and I see this all the time. The home buyers get into the process. We get inspections, attorney approval, kind of all the normal benchmarks of the real estate transaction, and the insurance always kind of gets left on the back burner and forgotten about, right? Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right.
You see this a lot.
Yep, all the time. I get the phone calls a lot of times last minute from the mortgage folks who need it now.
Right. Week before the closing.
Yeah.
Scrambling.
Sometimes less.
Now that puts them in a bad position. Am I right? Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, because the insurance sometimes takes a little bit of time to do.
Okay.
We're always searching around for the best price, the best companies. Not everybody fits into the same company. So we want to make sure we get best coverage at the best price. And sometimes we're getting a call saying we're closing next week. Can you put it together for us? So, my suggestion has always been take it off your plate in the beginning. It's a very full plate. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, it's been a long time since you've bought a home.
Right.
You forget how much is involved with, putting that contract in on the first day and closing in the last day, between inspections, attorney approval, like you said, getting the contracts done, going back and forth, negotiating. There's a lot that's involved. So I would say call early and take that piece off of your plate.
Yeah, and that's saying that everything goes smoothly. I mean, you know how it is. You get into inspections, and then all of a sudden you find knob and tube wiring that's 100 years old.
You got to negotiate that into the deal.
Never ends.
That's your end of the world.
So what do you do? So if when they call you up, like, is it a consultation? Is it just like, hey?
Yeah, it's about a 15, 20-minute conversation. We go over all the information that I'll need to quote the insurance.
Okay.
I always recommend doing home and auto. You get what we call bundle discounts. I'm sure you've heard the commercials.
Yeah.
Bundle with us. And
what's the benefit of the bundle?
So the bundle,
other than the obvious that you save, but
so the reason behind it, real quick, is the insurance companies have looked at their books of business, and they've found that they are more profitable when they write more than one line of business.
Okay.
Whether it be home and auto, home, auto, umbrella. So every line of business you put with them, they will discount it a little bit further. And it can be anywhere from 15 to 25%.
Okay.
So it's always worth it if you're able to do it. And we can't always beat the auto insurance.
You can't always beat it.
Not always. Yep. Sometimes they just throw it in a better price. Sometimes they have claims, accidents, tickets. There's nothing we can do about it.
Right.
So we've got some companies that are good at just writing property insurance. We have some that are better when we are writing the auto and home. So
the bundle's a fit if it's a fit. Right.
If it fits.
Exactly.
Yep.
So so that makes complete sense.
So if they call, when they call in, we're going to gather the information.
Yep.
Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and we'll do the work behind the scenes.
Right.
We'll go and quote up all the different companies we have. Come back with a price.
What are you asking them during the consult, though?
So name, date of birth.
Yep.
What they do for a living, the information on the house.
Yeah,
that's important.
I was going to say, other than the obvious of the name, but what's important on the house?
Yeah, what's important, the year built, square footage develops.
Yep.
How much we're covering it for. Are we talking, do we have a builder's grade kitchen, bathrooms, or is it like custom?
Mm-hmm.
Is there, a basement? Is it finished? What type of house is it? Type of siding? Any wood stoves?
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So how old, the really important parts are how old the roof, plumbing, heating, and electrical are. An insurance company doesn't want to get into a home that's got a 35-year-old roof that's leaking water.
Right.
So
I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Right, Johnny? So they have their guidelines as to what they're willing to insure. And then they'll do an inspection afterwards. So that's a really important part of the conversation when it comes to the insurance. And then from that we can...
I got a question for you. So what's the policy look like? Let's say I'm an investor, I'm doing a fix and flip, right? Does the insurance policy look different on a short hold fix and flip versus somebody like, hey, forever?
That's a great question.
Yeah, right?
It's a completely different policy.
Okay.
Most of my companies will not do fix and flips. They don't write they don't like to write the vacant homes.
Okay.
Especially vacant homes that are now getting work done on. It just adds exposure. So we have to go to specialty companies to get it done. We can do it.
Yep.
Coverages are very different. They're much more minimized.
Yeah.
Minimized, sorry.
Yeah.
And they're a lot more expensive. So you're getting less coverage for more money, unfortunately.
But at that point, it's a necessity, and you're not holding that long enough where that you're building that expense into your
if
net.
you can do that in a few months, that year-long premium gets cut.
It gets cut anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so that makes sense. Anyway, so you're figuring out nuances of the houses, ages, things of that nature.
Yeah,
Okay.
we get that. I go back and I quote it. I have a rating system. It quotes all of my companies at once. They kick out the best pricing. Then once I find the best pricing for the client, then we go into the actual insurance company's website and quote it up and get a final quote.
Okay.
At that point, then we'll send the quote over via email. And then, if they want to discuss it with their spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever they're buying the home with. And then we usually set up a consult after that to discuss any specific questions they may have about it.
Yeah. So now that you picked this for them, I guess are folks more price sensitive on policy, or do they come to you sometimes?
It can be. Coverage is really important, and they don't a lot of times know the service, the value of service as well.
Yeah.
And that you can only find out once you become a client.
Yeah.
When you have changes going on, claims to submit, and you want someone to have your back. So but price is a very, very important factor in the situation. Always is.
Okay. Is there special requests that people make that for coverage that's out of the ordinary than just a regular insurance policy?
I would say not that they request. It's usually my job to bring up the coverages that are added on. Something like a utility line coverage that covers anything underground.
Yeah.
That's not in your household.
A pool?
Water backup. Pool. So pool is just it's not a rating factor. It's just an underwriting factor. So meaning as long as we list it, some companies don't even charge for it. Some charge like
there's some real scary name for the pool that the I remember when we put the policy on my house. My insurance guy was like it called some sort of something hazard. I don't know what it was, but I was like, oh man, that's not...
the word hazard is always scary. The banks always ask for hazard insurance, and the clients never know what that is.
So
then after the consult, if they're ready to go with it, then that's when we start working with. We take it off of their plate completely at that point, and we work with the bank or whoever they're working with. So if they're working with a bank or a credit union or something like that, we'll work directly with them, get them the binder that is required to get a clear to close, and then I just ask them to keep in touch with me about when their closing is scheduled. So we really at that point take it off their plate completely and allow them to work on the other parts of that very full plate.
All right, so I know that the closing date in a real estate transaction is kind of like a pregnancy date, right? It's like we think you're going to have your kid on December 25th, and then it comes on the 18th, like my son. So the closing date's always this moving target, and I always wondered. So, do the policies? I don't want to say force, but the policies make the buyer pay their premium before the closing date, like the first premium or down payment, or do they pay at close?
So I don't take payment period at all.
Okay.
Until we know of a closing date.
Okay.
So, and I don't issue the policies either until we know of a closing date as well. It just makes it easier on the client. If they're required to make the payment prior to closing, we'll wait until they set up the closing date.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can do it at closing, meaning the insurance premiums in the down payment. We don't like to issue the policies if we don't have to, because closing dates change. And if we issue a policy and on the 21st and then they end up closing on the 18th, we have to cancel that policy.
Yeah.
They have to wait for their premium to get returned, start the new policy, pay a new policy premium. And that's how a lot of agencies do work. They're required to issue, where we will use the binder as the way for them to get the clear to close.
And so if there's no pay, see, I always thought if there, you got to put some money down to get your policy covered. So, or to have coverage, so that binding authority, as you say, without payment would still carry them through?
Yeah, the binding authority comes from us. We are given that authority. It basically just means we are providing coverage for the insurance if something were to happen and the policy was not issued. It's an actual contract.
It's a contract.
Yeah. Yep,
okay. All right. So no worries. You're covered, payment or no payment. You know.
Yep. We got you.
We got you.
Yep.
Okay.
Only for a short period of time, though, not for a full term. It's usually 30 days.
So I know we're coming close to the break, right? I want to talk about when we close and what happens thereafter, right?
Yep.
Because that's important. I mean, it's not just like,
That's just
hey,
the beginning.
we're done with Matt. It's no, Matt's going to stick with you throughout the process.
Yep.
Whether claim or no claim, he's going to be able to do that with you. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a minute or two, and we're going to keep the conversation going with Matt Moore from Moore Insurance Service at Clifton Park.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Buying or selling the place you call home can be stressful. When you have questions, you don't want to wait for answers. Well, for 20 years, Kim Salerno and her team at Salerno Law have built a solid reputation with buyers, sellers, and real estate agents as fast, respectful communicators. They know Salerno Law will protect their rights and respond quickly when a question arises. Trust Salerno Law. Call 518-309-3404 and check out their 5-star reviews at SalernoLawNY.com.
Hi, I'm Matt Moore from Moore Insurance Services in Clifton Park. Let me take the stress out of quoting your home and auto insurance. We represent over 10 companies, which allows us to find the best coverage at the best prices. We've been helping families in the Capital District save money on their insurance for over 10 years. You can count on a quick turnaround as well as great communication every time. Give me a call at 518-280-1452 or go online to moreinsurancesvc.com and experience the difference. That's moreinsurancesvc.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
Okay, guys, we're back. We're talking real estate. We're talking we're talking about real estate insurance, right? Getting coverage on a house that you're buying, a home you might be flipping, or hey, maybe you own a home and you're shopping your insurance, because insurance is tricky right now, Matt. Right? It really is. It's a hard market, as they say in the insurance business, and premiums are up. Companies are pulling out of New York State. Right? Like every time I talk to you, you got new names of people that are bailing on New York and on the insurance world. Correct?
Yeah, we've got one Adirondack Insurance Exchange just closed down.
Yeah,
they're done.
They are done.
Yeah, well, January they sent out the letters that the insurance is being non-renewed for everybody effective January 1st. So
yikes.
If anybody out there has got them, give me a shout. We've been helping clients out, make the transition from them to one of the companies here. You've got companies like Main Street America that's no longer writing in New York State. AmGuard, which is actually a Berkshire Hathaway company who owns Geico.
Okay.
They're no longer writing in New York State. I think it's just home insurance in New York State. You've got Kemper Insurance. You've got National General, who stopped writing in New York State. So, New York. It's been a tough.
I had no idea,
few
Matt.
years.
I mean, I can imagine in the state of Florida.
Right.
Have stopped.
Yeah, so why New York?
Why
is it getting squeezed?
During COVID, New York State did not allow the insurance companies to take rate increases. Really,
right?
Okay.
They were trying to protect the consumer.
Was this different than other states, though? Or
I'm not so familiar with the other states. I know it was happening. It's a nationwide issue right now. These rates it's really not just New York State that it's happening in. It might be a little bit worse in New York State,
right?
But they weren't allowed to take the rate increases for 3 years during COVID, and now it dug themselves a hole, and they were paying claims. Yeah. Don't forget, if everybody remembers the increase on material during COVID. If we're talking 3, 4, 5 times the price. Yeah. So they were paying those claims, paying those inflated prices, and they weren't able to increase their prices to maintain. So they were running really poor profits. Yeah. So they're basically now allowed to take the increases. But it's up to the state. They can't just arbitrarily, increase a rate. Yeah. They have to file it with the state and then send factual documentation as to why they need the rate increase. Yeah. So these companies that were, run thin aren't able to survive in New York, at least. Some aren't able to survive at all. So,
wow, that's
it's a really crazy market. They tighten their guidelines. They make it tougher to write business.
Yeah,
so it's just been.
Well, if anybody's got any feedback on this, give us a call, 518-476-5900. We're talking about the stress of insurance in New York State and really like the pie getting smaller and smaller for insurance companies in terms of what they can charge and if it's even profitable for them to continue writing policies and paying out claims. And we've got Matt Moore here from Moore Insurance Services in Clifton Park. Matt's an insurance expert. He helps us with binding a lot of properties with your home sold guaranteed realty, and he's an expert in the field. So if you guys want to give us a call, 476-5900. Let's talk insurance and real estate, baby. Anyway, listen, I do want to talk about the fall market a little bit right now because we touched on rates a little bit. They came down, not much, but I'm
seeing increase in refinances on mine. What do you see on your end in terms of real estate?
Kidding. Okay.
Not direct. I mean, we don't do direct refinances. Obviously, we just help people buy and sell houses. But talking to people like Kim Salerno, Ben Forcucci, our lenders, our real estate attorneys, yes, there is an uptick in refinancing because, hey, listen, that little half a point decrease can save people $300-400 a month on their mortgage. That's a savings, right? So that makes a big difference. But unfortunately, it's not loosening the teeth up enough to have us start seeing more inventory.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. You're not seeing much yet on your
No, there's been. I shouldn't say that there is an uptick in inventory, but we are still so far behind the 8 ball in terms of pre-pandemic numbers where there was 3,500, 4,000 properties on the market at any given time. Like, that's a healthy market, right? That gives buyers choices. It gives us as agents like opportunities to get more listings, have more opportunities for just sales in general. So the pie's a lot bigger. People are still fighting over.
You guys are feeding off of a much smaller
fighting over crumbs. So it's tough. And luckily, our cash offer program has been a big benefit for home sellers or people that don't want to fix up their house, don't want to get involved with the traditional open house, bringing people through their property and all hours of the day, and just don't want to deal with that process. So the cash offer program gives people an opportunity to have multiple cash offers on your house. We can close you out in less than 30 days. These are real cash offers. There is a small inspection involved, but it's not to kill the deal like a traditional buyer would. It's just to have the investor figure out what they need to do with the house to possibly even fix it up, or just kind of do what I call as a buff and glow and then put it back on the market. So it just makes it easier for home sellers to get through the process, maximize their profits, and get a really easy deal done. Yeah. So that's been a big benefit for us and a big tool. So we've been fortunate enough, at least on our end, to have the cash offer program because it does attract business. And if the cash offer program doesn't work for people, then we traditionally sell it. Yeah, it's a traditional. And a lot of times you're going to get a little bit more money for the traditional sale. Yeah, it's a little bit more of a hassle, but the way we have it set up, it's not really that big of a hassle. And, an end user is going to pay a little bit more for a house than an investor would. So it's just common sense. Yeah. But let's get back to the insurance conversation because I do want to say, if anybody is interested in the cash offer program, give the office a call, 957-SOLD, 957-7653. Talk to me about more of this
closing?
Pricing. And
pricing. You want to continue with the closing?
No, let's finish the closing and finally finish the process. Okay. So we close on the house. Matt's got your insurance policy.
I get the phone call. Phone call, you're closing. We go ahead and issue the policy at that point.
Yep.
And that's kind of where it begins. Our relationship with the clients begins there.
Yeah.
So, we close, we issue the policy, we send out, if we do the auto, we send out their ID cards. We'll cancel their old policies for them. Anytime something pops up, claim changes for the insurance, you got to change your mortgage, you got to add a car, take a car, file a claim, you call us. So you get to know the agency versus an 800 number at one of the companies, which is a real big benefit nowadays because when you call the other companies, you're getting someone different every time.
Yeah.
So
probably not from this country, and
it's happening.
No offense to that. It's just I want to talk to somebody that's in Clifton Park and not in.
Absolutely.
God knows where.
So that's it. So we
especially if a tree fell on my house.
Yeah.
Right?
I know. Yes. Yep.
Let's shoot straight. I want to talk to Matt. I don't want to talk to some stranger, that might be in
that's a benefit.
North Dakota.
So, at that point, we'll take care of everything. We encourage people to reach out to us even before claims occur. Give us a call. Let us talk it through before we do anything.
Yeah.
We just want people calling the office versus the company. It takes a lot off of their plate when they got.
So you encourage that. You want them to call you first versus
we want them to call us. We'll take care of it. Let us deal with the company.
Yeah.
We do it every day.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. Well, that's a big relief to know that personal service is there and that Matt's going to take care of you. God forbid something happens to the house. So listen, we're running up on the next sponsor break. We're going to be back in less than 2 minutes, and we're going to finish up our conversation with Matt Moore.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Hi, I'm Matt Moore from Moore Insurance Services in Clifton Park. Let me take the stress out of quoting your home and auto insurance. We represent over 10 companies, which allows us to find the best coverage at the best prices. We've been helping families in the Capital District save money on their insurance for over 10 years. You can count on a quick turnaround as well as great communication every time. Give me a call at 518-280-1452 or go online to moreinsurancesvc.com and experience the difference. That's moreinsurancesvc.com.
Buying or selling the place you call home can be stressful. When you have questions, you don't want to wait for answers. Well, for 20 years, Kim Salerno and her team at Salerno Law have built a solid reputation with buyers, sellers, and real estate agents as fast, respectful communicators. They know Salerno Law will protect their rights and respond quickly when a question arises. Trust Salerno Law. Call 518-309-3404 and check out their 5-star reviews at salernolawny.com.
Hi, I'm Matt Moore from Moore Insurance Services in Clifton Park. Let me take the stress out of quoting your home and auto insurance. We represent over 10 companies, which allows us to find the best coverage at the best prices. We've been helping families in the Capital District save money on their insurance for over 10 years. You can count on a quick turnaround as well as great communication every time. Give me a call at 518-280-1452 or go online to moreinsurancesvc.com and experience the difference. That's moreinsurancesvc.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
Okay, guys, we're back. Finishing up the show here with Matt Moore from Moore Insurance Services of Clifton Park. We finally tackled the process of what happens when you need to put insurance on your real estate purchase and kind of the steps in between, some good tips and tricks that Matt shared with us, and also to let you know, like, hey, if God forbid something happens to your home, you're going to talk to Matt. It's not going to be an emu. It's not going to be, some stranger from Texas. It's going to be the guy himself who's going to walk you through this probably stressful time in your life,
Sure.
right? If
So
there's a claim on
yeah.
something, like you either hit somebody, hit a pole or you freaking...
Your
your basement flooded,
or,
your house is on fire. I mean, it's never a fun conversation. So, but it's good to know that you're going to talk to Matt. Matt knows how to navigate these situations and get you out of hot water. So, Matt, any last tips or comments that you want to make about the process? Or because
you and I were talking about when you should be looking at your insurance.
Yes,
revisiting
it. Yeah.
One thing I always say is try to do a minimum of 3 years.
Yeah.
So when we run auto insurance quotes, they run for new. So if I'm quoting your insurance right now, John, I would run your prior insurance, and it shows me your limits. Make sure you have the proper coverage, liability limits.
Okay.
And make sure you want to wait about 3 years because you start getting discounts from the company you're quoting with when a client's been with their prior carrier for 3 years or more. So they're basically discounted because of loyalty. So that person's not jumping ship every year to a new company. So we'll throw a little discount in there for you.
Does the company adjust that? Let's say I've been with my company for 3 years. Do they just automatically start discounting? You got to call them.
Unfortunately, just for new insurance. It's just for the new stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
You can't call them up and say, it's like the Spectrum deal.
Yeah,
you
the Spectrum deal.
When you've been with them for longer, right?
So then you call them up and say, hey, I'm thinking about going to Geico. Like, wait a second, Mr. Bevilacqua, we're going to give you this.
Well, that's the benefit of using an independent agent. Too,
that's right.
Is, we can go to different companies.
I do
it all the time.
Angles. The angles. So that's good to know. Hey, so we're out of time here, but I do want to talk. Kind of tee up the next show. We just scratched the surface on what's going on with New York State and insurance companies. So
I think do a whole show on that.
We can do a whole entire show on that, which I think we'll do for the next one. Matt, how do they get a hold of you?
518-280-1452 or moreinsurancesvc.com.
Okay, great. Well, listen, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Another awesome show with Matt. We got Big Joe Malone coming on next Saturday doing an agent show. Going to talk about get real in deep to the real estate market next Saturday. Thanks for listening. See you guys later.
The Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show is presented by Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, the property shop. Join broker and founder John Bevilacqua every Saturday morning at 8:30 to hear about the latest real estate trends here in the capital region, where to find the best mortgage rates, home insurance, home warranties, and more. To speak to John about buying or selling your home, call now to schedule an appointment. 518-957-SOLD. That's 518-957-7653. Or go to JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com. That's JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com.